Hello, my dear friend. This is Gabriel and Icon of the Charity Medical Foundations. In the name of our great Creator, Elohim, El Shalom, El Elyon, Yahweh, I am here to say to everyone that God loves all of you and that we have to enhance that love through our behavior by accepting, opening our heart to greet each other with love accordingly in order for that to occur. I have a consulting firm in which I do public health, biostatistic, and in the near future bioinformatics as well. So I have worked in small project in which I got to in touch with some company and agencies as a single or solo or individual who wanted to prove himself. But in the meantime, I would like to make sure that many of us notice the trouble that we have in the nations and many shooting and killings that are happening. Most of our problems are spirituals, and what we see are only the symptoms of spiritual problems. It's like a person who have some form of sickness, and we're looking at the symptoms and try to cure the symptoms instead of curing the actual sickness. So that's the same thing with the problem that we have in our lives. They are spiritual problems, and we're dealing with symptoms, and we're focusing ourselves on symptoms instead of focusing on problems. So with respect to that, what do we have to do to solve our problems? We have to look the spiritual realm. And who is the spiritual realm? The spiritual realm is God. It's controlled by God. So we have to know who God is and understand the standards and principles, the way He wants us to function in order to solve the real problems, not looking at only the symptoms. When you have a problem, it's a negative spell has been done into you in the spiritual realm by demons in order for you to have what you have, and what you have is just a symptom of what was done to a realm that you have no clue. When you have a blessing, everything is also done in the spiritual realm, and then what you see are only the manifestation of that blessing, because everything has been done for you over there. And then the only thing they will ask you to do is to do your best, your physical contact with that person. It is not alone that when you meet an individual, you speak to that individual and suddenly say, it is me because the way I behave myself, only I made that happen. No, you alone didn't bring both of you together. There was a force, there was a work done spiritually before both of you met. See, when the spiritual is done, the only thing the spiritual wants from the physical is the contact. That's all. So the individual alone cannot do those stuff. Those are beyond man's ability. So you only do what is within man's scope and ability to achieve what is beyond your ability. Like today, I wake up, like every single time, you can wake up dizzy, you don't have too much energy, but you say, you know what, I do my best as a human being, and I left the rest to the power above. So what they do is science and spiritual technology that is above our technology, and then you start running because you did your part. The contact they wanted, the physical aspect, so that the spiritual realm can come in and do exactly what's supposed to be done. So moving onward, I would like to introduce the topic of today's presentation. Will be short as well. It is the logic of the invisible one. The logic of the invisible one. So without further ado, I would like to say shalom and salam, bonjour, bonsoir, guten tag, guten nacht to many people around the world. Señor, señorita, and señora, welcome, and buenos dias, and hello Esther. Let's start my presentations. There is the way that God have conceptualized the universe. When he started to conceptualize the universe, he made everything like the puzzle. You put all the puzzle, all the part of the puzzle together, and you have the entire picture. You cannot solve problems if you don't bring all the pieces together. It's like a query. A query is kind of like a question that still need to be answered. So what you do to answer that question, you bring all the pieces together and you find the joints. And when you bring them together, you have the overall view of the entire map, and you know exactly what it is. So that's how God made the universe. So he overviewed everything from the beginning into the end. Then he launched it. So out of every single individual, there are many possibilities, and those are branches. And what he does, he already know all the possibility and how the outcome going to be. So it's up to us to make that happen. The puzzle is right there. That's the puzzle, the good one. All right. So we just have to do our best to meet that. And most of the time we don't do it because of evil around us. I know many people do not relate to what I'm saying truly because they don't see God. They don't see the spiritual realm. They don't believe in this stuff. But I'm telling you, I go to school, I study genes. I study the mechanism that is genes. There is no possible random factors or random algorithm that made a human being. In all count, there's no random, there's no chance, because you're talking about specificity to complexity. You cannot have a complex matter without going into specificity pathway. It's just not truly possible. You have to go to a certain form of specificity or pathway to reach that complexity state or stage. So the way that we are made as a whole so perfectly is because there has been some concise and precise arrangement of our nucleotide in our DNA that formulate our genes that are part of the chromosomes and part of our cells, tissues and organs that formulate our whole body. There's no way it's gonna be like that. So perfect in harmony without going into a process of specificity of a higher caliber. But you cannot look the number of possibilities that can occur for the formulations of a single amino acid in a specific position through the peptide bound chain of an amino acid sequence in a specific arrangements. So what are the probability of that specific amino acid codons to be in that specific positions so that it can formulate a good protein so the person look well, act well, perfect like you are as you're watching me right now, because that's what's happening in your body through the process of gene expressions and cellular metabolisms, as well as proteins pathways. So you have 20 into the power 150 possibility, because the lowest amino acid you can have in the human genome sequence and apparatus is 150 amino acid arrangement sequence with specific positions. Then out of the 220 to the power 150 possibility, what are the chances for that specific amino acid to be formed and be positioned in that specific location to formulate that concise and precise protein that will make you look good out there, that people don't gonna look you down? You give me the possibility by chance alone. What are the probability? What are the likelihood? 1 out of what? 20 to the power 150 is 0.00000. You go to bed, you wake up, you come back, it's still zero going. So it will never gonna happen by chance alone. So what are that evolution prospect, and people just don't want to believe that there's a creator, there is somebody that is above human ability that made all of those things the way they are. You see people with certain malformality, like I say, because I'm also malformal, my own talking, degenerative disease. Those happen because one sequence of proteins got some problems. You don't know, you got to know that. You have 30,000 proteins that formulate your character, your personality. You have 70,000 that formulate your organs. If one of them, out of those 100,000, one amino acid get formed in a wrong position, you'll be mixed up. That's what happened to some people. You'll be mixed up. That's what happened. So you tell me how out of those few people, you have a bunch of billion of people that have a normal human morphology. How did that happen by chance? If a higher intelligence is not behind it. So it is not possible. God here exists. The Bible says in Genesis, you are created in His image. Created in His image of who? God. Who is God? God is spiritual, invisible, and immortal. It means eternal. So if you are created in His image, it's written in your Bible, I'm not inventing anything. It means that you are spiritual, you are eternal, and you are invisible. So now people are going to say, okay, I'm okay with the spiritual because God is spiritual. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with eternal because the spirit is eternal. Okay, what about invisible? I don't understand that part. Okay, let me tell you this. Your soul is part of your spirit. So your soul resides inside this human body. So when you look in the mirror, can you see your soul? You cannot see your soul, right? So you are invisible because that is the true you. It is the same thing when you are seeking for God. Why do people going to question the existence of God when they cannot even see their own self? That's how God is looking at you, like you can't even see who you are. You try to challenge my existence. Find first who you are. If you can discover that soul inside of you, you will know me. And that is true. If you start looking the spiritual, you start discovering who you are, you're going to know who God is. So He does exist. He does exist. You're created in His image. You are spiritual, you are eternal, and you are invisible. Therefore, there's no question of life after death, because there is. If you're spiritual, you got to know that this is not a spiritual world we're living in. This is material world. So when you die, your body, your soul, your true self going to have to leave the body, because overall, your soul dictates what the body have to do. And I am trying to go further. That's why I'm going back to school. I might not be able to formulate my research there because it's too high. I might not have enough support, but I will get the degree that I'm supposed to get, and then later on I will formulate my own thing. Wave genetics. Our soul is what dictates our body. The body that we have is a scheme that possesses information on how to build an organism, proteins. It's only a scheme. It means everything is already structured. Everything is structured. Everything is in place. It's a scheme. Now, you need something that would tell that scheme how to do that. And that's where the soul comes in place. And the soul is not a biological cellular morphology organism. It is a wave frequency organism. So it dictates in the form of holographic formulations and solitonics formulation as well, and transfer the information into the endogenous internal DNA radiation lasers that in turn transfer the information to feed your nucleotide of your genes that make your proteins. But you're going to be talking about the enclone and the exons. Those are the preliminary components of messenger RNA, that after everything, all the enclone are removed, you have the exons that are there to formulate your final mRNA and express and start doing the process of transcriptions to the transition process for the formulation of the proteins. So now you tell me, how do you get that? With so conciseness and precision without a higher intelligence. So that's the reason why when you die, your soul have nothing more, no other thing to do in your body. So you leave. Because the scheme is done. So what operation do I have to do here? I don't have any more operation, so I have to leave. So it's a process that got put in place, that something bad lead to something good. Because that's the way he designed it. If that was not true, your soul gonna perish with your body. And that's what makes the difference between us, the higher genome, the higher species, and the higher genome compared to the animal. The animal have the soul, but the soul don't have a spirit. It means that when they die, the soul also perish. The soul also die with the body. But your soul do not. So that's where you are, the higher biocomputer organism with an internal DNA radiation laser that play a role of modulating the frequency that comes from the wave DNA in the form of photons. You start talking about the quantum teleportation of morphogenics, or metabolic or genetic metabolic data information in a permissive versions. Transformation and transportation and feeding. Translations of those informations into radio wave and sound and start talking into your DNA. The scheme that is written in there. So who's God? The higher intelligence, he said to me, you can do a binary expansions of 10. 1010. Me, God, I can give you the binary code of 1 billion in less than a second. In order for me to give you a code of a binary code of 1 billion, so any number can be written in any power base, but mostly we use base 2 because those are the computer nomenclature, and we use the base 10 because that's where we do all our calculations. You can write all our number are written in form 10, like 10 is equal to what? 10 to the power 1. 20 is equal to what? 10 to the power 1 plus 10 to the power 1. That's what it is. But if you want to convert 10 into a binary code, you have to write it in the form of binary and then now do a binary expansion. And then you have the binary code. That's how the computer functions when you type the numbers. And God said he can do 1 billion in less than a second. Less than a second. Which are an infinite combination of 10, 10, 10, 0. So who is God? Is the higher intelligence, the infinite intelligence behind everything. I just explained to you. I'm not just talking. I'm giving you I put my arguments, I put the queries, put my arguments, and put my hypothesis there. I put my arguments and prove it. Using the relational logic. So, who is God? God is love. Who is God? God is life. Therefore, what is life? Life is love. It is called the relational logic. The day you're going to transit into the other world, and God asks you, what is life is about? Remember today and say to God, life is about love. Your answer will be correct. Don't look at him like a freaking evil. That is waiting for his freaking judgment when his time ends. God gave him a time. That time is not done yet. That's why we're going to suffering. That's why people can still put toxin in my food to eat. But that time will come. We might be the generations of suffering like those before us, but there will be a generation where time will come normal. When that dude is sent back into the chain of hell and host there forever when the time is over. So when God will ask you what life is about, say to God, life is all about love. If you don't know that by now, you're going the wrong direction. Start looking for love. Start having love. Start treating other people the way you want it to be loved. Giving them some love, because that's what it's about. You cannot stay there and stay, I can love, I have too much pain. People hurt me a lot. Do you know how many times you hurt God? No, you don't. Maybe you might not think that you ever hurt him before. You did. But you seen your thoughts, your thinking about other people. He get hurt when you do that. So who are you not to forgive other people? But you want God to forgive you. You get mixed up in your brain. Because that's not how God is. You have to love other people regardless of what they have done to you. And then you're going to have the blessing and the love from God as well. So without further ado, I would like people to go to my website www.angelh Medical Foundation, ITE, or medfundit.org, and they can see I get a lot of information there. And they can also go to Google. I'm pretty much in many of the social network. I'm there. I'm pretty much all over the place. I won't say, not like God, because it's everywhere. So, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. One of his angels from the house of the thrones or power or cherubim or seraphim can control an entire nation of the size of the United States. So, who are people to judge God and ask him questions when one of his angels can control the entire United States? Those houses that I just gave you are the closest to his throne. If men don't fear God, they don't know the reason why they're here. Fearing God do not mean that when you hear his name, you fear him. No, it means your behavior toward other people, treating other people without any love. Because you are your own God. It's waiting for you at the end. When your time comes, the payback will start. See, this universe is in harmony because there's an equilibrium and balance. Everything is balanced in this earth. If you don't know that yet, something's wrong with your thinking. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. This is Gabriel Ndicon of the Comfit Global Consulting for medical, pharmaceutical, and innovative technology. The founder and initiator, through God blessing and Jesus Christ, of the Charity Wave Genetic Institute for the future of medicine.